let us welcome the Honorable Member, Minister in the Ministry of Public Works, the Honorable Minister Deodat Indar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I know this is as I said, the night is old, but I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to give my contributions on this budget of 2025 that is put forward by the PPPC government. Mr. Speaker, I sat for 4 days, from Friday to now, and I've heard almost everything about what this budget can do, and from the opposition side, what it didn't do. From Friday to the end of today. It's a couple more hours from midnight, my Paul. Maths is not hard. Starting from the opposition side was Ms. Jurita Finance. And Ms. Jurita Finance said something that really offended me, Mr. Speaker. It really offended me. You know, young people, I believe if you are a parliamentarian, you must do research and you must be able to bring facts to an argument. This is an honorable house, and persons debating should have some facts. I say that her presentation offended me for one single point. When she said about the small jobs and persons working in the hotels, the cleaners, and so on. Mr. Speaker, I know my colleague Unish Waldron answered it at length, but I wanted to put a personal side to it. Mr. Speaker, I came from 47 New Road, Villeneuve. I was born and raised there. But my mother, who was a single parent, my father left when I was 2 years old, but my mother, who was a single parent, she was a TSU rank, but apart from that job, she did cleaning work. She was a housekeeper. She went and pressed people's clothes, cleaned their place, and cooked and pressed with dignity to take care of me and my other siblings. Today, I stand in this honorable house. I stand in this honorable house as a member of the President's Cabinet and as a member of the PPP side of the house to defend, and to defend people that work hard for a living, an honest living. It is an affront to all Guyanese who go and toil with their hands to make an honest living for persons that are supposed to be young, supposed to be respectful, to disrespect their hard work. That is not service. That is not service to Guyanese. That is disrespect to Guyanese. And I took umbrage to it. And I feel obligated to say that because my mother, rests her soul in peace, worked her bones to bring us up. Honestly. So I wanted to respond to that. But as I'm on that, I want to say that the honorable member after her was Mr. Duncan. And Mr. Duncan went on to say and speak about a whole host of things, including cash grant. And saying that the cash grant cannot be delivered. Mr. Speaker, $60 billion in this budget will go to 600,000 people. Every single Guyanese will get their money, and they will get that money from the People's Progressive Party civic government. It is not the APNU, not the hecklers over there who spend our GCCA money to travel and all kind of things. Not those people. It is the PPP who give and make sure to put provisions in the budget to give all Guyanese.
It is the taxpayers' money.
Mr. Speaker, it seems my comments in this very old aspect of the night is causing some shivers over there. They're quarreling a lot, Mr. Speaker. Please. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member Duncan he went on to say and talk about job losses and BPOs being closed down. I know that the Honorable Minister Singh will, in his closing, will deal with that. But I want to say, when you're speaking about jobs in Guyana, it is the generation of jobs come from economic growth and expansion. This didn't happen under the APNU. What happened under the APNU is a different story. It is marked by people being fired day in, day out. Day in, day out. I say to you because the Honorable Member Jordan, who spoke about agriculture, he was talking all kind of thing about 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐄 and Mr. Ramjatan about 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐄 and firing and how, right sizing and all these things about 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐄. But they were the ones who put people out of work. Mr. Speaker, I want to share a story with you. Mr. Speaker, I want to share, and for all of the people who will listen and who will see this commentary. I walk every part of this country as humanly possible. I walk them. These 2 feet walk street by street and do work. I came across a woman in Zealot North. 2 years ago, I came across a woman in Zealot North. And I was talking to the lady, and her husband was sitting on the step. And I sat there with 2 of my colleagues in the blazing sun. We were walking to the house to house. And I sat there, and I saw the woman, and I was talking to her, and she wasn't paying me no mind. But what she was doing is cleaning shrimps, these white belly shrimps. So I decided to walk out of the house and come out of the yard. And then my colleague said, Minister, the woman is picking shrimps because that's her job. I said, you're joking. I walk back in. So I go and ask the lady, I said, Mama, is this what you do for a living? She said, yes. I said, your name? She said, Miss 𝐶𝐃𝐄𝐄. I said, how much of that you do? How much of that you do per day? So she had this butter bowl, and she picked the shrimps, and she said she's paid $100 to pick a butter bowl. I said, so how much of that you can do for a day? She said 14. So that is $1,400 she's working picking shrimps. So I said, is that your husband? She said, yes. I said, what does your husband do for work? She said, he don't work. I said, he don't work? She said, no. He was fired by 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐄. So when people come to this house and talk about closing and downsizing and right sizing, those are the real stories. And that is not that lady's story. That story is cascaded across the country. Everywhere you go, you find stories like that of how they have destroyed people's lives. That is how they have destroyed people's lives. You can heckle as much as you want. You can heckle as much as you want, but the fact of the matter is that you destroy people's lives. Mr. Speaker, the other matter that I want to raise is the philosophy of Wales. Oh, you can show back. The Wales area. When you go into Wales, Mr. Speaker, a couple of years ago when you went into Wales, Wales was a ghost town. Wales was a ghost town. My people, let's try over there. A ghost town. Ghost town. The sugar estate is Mangalayan. Nothing happens there. Bush. Rat take over the fields. Nothing happened there. The PPP government came into power. Put a power plant over there. A power plant over there that you're costing every day. And now, when you go there to try to buy land, try to get waterfront, try to build anything you go there, the land price has gone up. You know why? Because of the philosophy. The philosophy of the people is that we bring investment into the areas where you all have abandoned. You have abandoned it and you have left it to rot. And it hurts when people speak about it. It hurts when people speak about it. Now, as they're talking blackout and they're heckling, let me get to that. That is the ultimate political football, Mr. Speaker. That is the political football. This morning, we were relegated and regaled by the Honorable Patterson. He's not here. Never here. When he speaks, he leaves. He wasn't here. So, Mr. Speaker, When they took office in 2015, a couple of months in, give them 2015, no, 2016, a full year. 1 full year in 2016. 1 full year in 2016. When you check the records of what we collected from GPL, when we went to GPL revenue at the time is $33 billion. The government that these fellas, these honorable members, the government owed GPL $13 billion of the $33 billion per annum. 1/3 of the money they can't pay GPL. They have left GPL with broken knees, all of them, and they sat there, broken knees. They have done nothing. Not one single feeder they built. Not one single feeder they built. One engine they put in. It worked for 6 months and it break the crankshaft. Nothing they've done. And they come in here and they accuse us. And they say, oh, the gas energy is not good. The power ship is not good. But you know what? We have built back the generation capacity to 269 megawatts of power. We pick it up with 99 megawatts. 99 megawatts. Left it to nothing. Next to nothing. They can't hear the truth. Once you see their behavior like that, Mr. Speaker, it hurting them because that is the fact. Mr. Speaker, from 2016 to 2020, fuel price was next to nothing. A barrel of oil went to $28. A bucket of KFC was more expensive than a barrel of oil on the their tenure. For the whole 5 years in there, the average price they paid for a barrel of fuel is $53. $53. GPL was making reserves. You know what they did with the reserves? Nothing. You know what they did with the reserve? Nothing. What they did? They didn't even reduce the price to people. What they did is put VAT on it. Tax people more. We came into the government, Mr. Speaker. They can't handle it. We came into the government. Fuel price went to $104. $104 a barrel of oil. 90 for every $100 GPL brings in, 91 cents goes into fuel. 91 cents. You have to run an entire company by 9 cents. How do you do that? You can't. You cannot do it. What we have done. Now, Mr. Speaker, this is what we are doing to fix the sector. They don't like it because we are doing the right thing. We are monetizing gas. We don't wait for the honorable holder to tell us that we need to monetize gas. We are building a 300 megawatts plant. We are building another 250 megawatts plant that's already out to tender. We don't wait on nobody to come and give us advice that they themselves need. You're telling me that we now need to monetize gas? Since we were in the opposition, we made sure that we put in the manifesto the monetization of gas. We have contracted a company to build a natural gas plant to feed the generation. And you are coming here now, this later will tell us about monetization of gas? Come on, man. Mr. Speaker, I find that the hero syndrome is coming back into the house. The hero syndrome. Thank you, Minister. The hero syndrome is coming back into the house. The hero syndrome is the fireman, light the place on fire, take the hose and try to out it down and call himself a hero in the process. I find that happening everywhere in the opposition. They did all of the worthlessness when they were in government and now coming here with fancy plans. Oh, we're going to fix this. We're going to fix that. We're going to come back to Isuku. Imagine, they are so bankrupt Fridays. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, they are bankrupt Fridays. Their government, Mr. Speaker, was mad. The APNU and AFC, and not forgetting that bunch, the AFC too, they are mad by bankruptness Fridays. They don't have none. That is why a man could come now and say, you want to start back at Suku. You have no new idea. That is like a dog trying to eat Baki vomit, Mr. Speaker. It's like a dog trying to eat Baki vomit. Listen, Mr. Speaker, their administration, some of them can't sit and take it, is marred by bullyism, regressiveness. It's marred by stagnation. You stifle growth. You stifle growth. You tax everything under the sun. You tax everything under the sun. Incompetence was the height of it under their management. It's not how much money you have, it's how you use the little that you have. It's how you use the little that you have. They were collecting $90 billion more in taxes and did nothing with it. You know what $90 billion could do, Mr. Speaker? $33 billion building 121 kilometers roads in the hinterland. $90 billion could have built 333 kilometers. You know what it did? Zero. And they sit there and think that they're some genius kid with all the answers in the corner. They think that we don't understand what they are about. What they are about, Mr. Speaker.
Minister, let me appeal to the House to give you an opportunity for me to hear you, because it's becoming very ruckus. You must be touching on a lot of nerves.
Mr. Speaker, for 4 days, I heard insipid, cantankerous presentations by those on the other side. For 4 days, I've heard it. And these are people who try to steal a whole country in front of the world. And they're telling you about democracy. They're telling you about honesty and truth. Those are the folks over there. Mr. Speaker, these, you call it miscreants and Kavakamites. That is what characterizes the opposition. And they can't handle it. Well, you can't handle it when you tell them. They cannot. They are barefaced and brazen. They come here and they spread all kind of mistruth and they think this country got here goldfish. People with goldfish memory, by the time they flick up and flick down, the memory gone. But no, Guyanese people remember things. We have memories like elephant. We remember things, and we remember all them things we all do. And we're going to remind the population of everything that you all do to them. Every single thing you all do to them. Mr. Speaker, I remember in 2015, this is my personal experience. I had no time with politics. I was in the private sector. When they won the election in 2015, I go outside and I watch the sky, the place just get dark. Dark. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, darkness stalked this land for 5 years. It was blighted. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, it was so blighted that the fish didn't even bite. Ask the artisanal fishers. Ask the artisanal fishers if fish stopped biting hook. That is how blighted the place was under their government. And y'all come here and y'all tell us about what? Huh? Yeah? Mr. Speaker, they cannot handle it. They cannot handle it. Hold on. I'm coming for y'all last night. Mr. Speaker, I saw a TikTok video going around with the opposition, and they're saying, it started with my good friend, the chief whip. Did you see anything good in the budget? No, I didn't see anything good. You say, no, like children. They're like children with a toy plane. Mr. Speaker, it was so childish. So childish. Mr. Speaker, they are saying that you see nothing good in this budget. You have a tax base. You have a threshold moving out to 130,000 tax-free. 100,000 Guyanese of our walks of life don't benefit from that. And you see nothing good? You see nothing good? Mr. Patterson, Mr. Patterson was here on the mic. He was there this morning talking about he see nothing good neither. But the problem with he and the rest of them is that they always looking to London and going to Tokyo. That's the problem with them. They don't see right. And they have people like them who are the older folks over there leading that crew. Mr. Speaker, the boat is going in a direction, you know, but the captain sailing, all of them. Mr. Speaker, the entire opposition. Mr. Speaker, you know what lost me? Many years ago, you know what lost me? I'll tell you what lost me. When an entire government, the collective wisdom of an entire government looks children in the eye and say, I ain't giving you the money to buy your half a sack. I ain't giving you the money to buy the shoe, neither the crayon and the Crayola. The collective wisdom of an entire government. Imagine the value system. What are they going to do to we? What are they going to do to we, Mr. Speaker? You don't want it. But you know what? The People's Progressive Party put back the cash grant. It is now 50,000 plus 5,000, 55,000 for every child. Every child. And you know what? It's the people we will remember for it. And don't believe parents, don't forget y'all. Don't believe, because that money comes in. As I said, I don't sit down like the rest of them, like armchair generals, and hear reports. I'm on the ground, and people are telling me what I did to them. People are telling me what I did to them. Mr. Speaker, I heard somebody whispering something about cost of living and livable wage. My good friend Figueroa talk about livable wage. But what is a livable wage? I want to ask him. Is it $1 million? Is it a livable wage for somebody, Sherrod Duncan, sporting all the time all over the place? Is that what a livable wage is? A livable wage, you need to tell us what a livable wage is. Because what we have been doing all the time is putting money in the hands of people. We put money in people's hands. You all took it away. We put it in. Let's discuss the cost of living here. I am on the floor now. You all had your chance and you mess it up. Mr. Speaker, the cost of living is not a factor that is only internally influenced. And that is what they don't understand, or they choose not to understand. The United States of America just had elections. They had a big election. One of the biggest things to the central theme of the election was cost of living. So it's not like Guyana alone have it. It's every person, every country that is connected in this global trade suffer from it. What we have done is what matters. What we have done is what matters. We have changed the freight rate to make sure that it's pre-pandemic level, so that when a man bring in a good, if it's a bottle of water, whatever, it is taxed lower, so that it don't transfer into the hands of the consumer. And that is what these people don't understand. What we can do internally, we do. The agricultural sector put all kind of incentive in the hands of farmers, so they bring down their cost of production, so that it goes into the market. So those, like the honorable opposition leader, my friend Maipal, who went to Perica Market the other day, just to save face. Just to save face. You won't meet nobody near Lila. I was the man who went and, when was the fire at Perica, I was there in the fire with the people, helping them, help them build back their market, make sure that everything, all who had space, got back the space. Don't come here, feed the Honorable House Nancy Story. Don't come and feed no Nancy Story here. We deal with people, we know the people, and we walk on the ground with them. So cost of living, Mr. Speaker, if you look at how ships operate, most of the places that they come from is in the Far East, in places like Singapore, Taiwan, on the southern side of China, all of the ports there. They come through the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal had problems. Apart from the war in Ukraine and Russia, the Suez Canal had problems. The Panama Canal had drought. All the years that we were in government, they always had something internationally that disrupted global trade. And Guyana alone is not an island separated from the rest of the world. We are connected. The ships them went down the bottom of Africa, come up and go till the Netherlands, adding 9.5 days to the trip. 6,500 kilometers to the trip. It costs more. So when the goods land in any country that is going to, it will go up. And that is what these people don't understand, and they don't even check the research. They don't even check the research. Mr. Speaker, yeah? They don't know. Mr. Speaker, the Suez Canal, when it was blocked and they had all of them fighting down there, it affected 12% of global trade. 12%. You know what it is? Do you know what 12% of global trade is? Huh? Sherrod Canal. Mr. Speaker, I want to come to the gas to energy project. I want to come to the gas to energy project because I believe that the opposition, what they do is they accuse you of not doing anything, and when you do it or when you don't do it, they accuse you of non-action too. That is what they do. So an hour ago, a number of feeders went out in the country. A number of feeders went out in the country, but yet they may want to vote for the budget for the 88 billion for fix the problem. They don't want to vote for it to fix the problem, but they're costing your body blackout. They're costing your body blackout. But the very thing that you want the money to fix, they may want to vote for it. That is to show, I can't use the word hypocrisy, but the one-sidedness of them. The one-sidedness of them. They may want to vote for the money, but hey, you have to fix the problem. I don't know if the opposition think you're just attached to wire and get to fix the problem. It don't work like that. You have to invest heavily, and that is what we're doing. Investing in transmission, new substation, new plants to fix the problem. And that is what they have never done. They couldn't comprehend the large, massive project of a gas to energy project. And that is why. So they don't understand it, so they cuss it. They don't understand it, so they cuss it. Mr. Speaker, I heard, and I have to respond to this because I was part of it. My brother from Region 2, the Honorable Holder, came to the mic and talked about, oh, they will reform the oil and gas sector and they will put in this and that and Petroleum Commission. Mr. Speaker, please check the records of this very parliament that a Petroleum Commission bill came from the APNU. It came from the APNU when the Honorable Trotman was minister then, but the document was a 28-page document that was the worst piece of legislation they ever put together on the face of this earth. It concentrated all of the power in the Minister of Natural Resources, making him a super minister. It was so bad of a legislation, they put it in select committee and left there and die in natural death. So you come here now like if Petroleum Commission is a new thing, but it was done and tried and tested by y'all and you could not get it done. You couldn't get it done. So, Mr. Speaker, the honorable member brought the matter like if it's some fresh idea, but they must check their own records and see what is in there. Because at the time I was president of the Chamber of Commerce, and I went all over the country and tell everybody what the piece of legislation they put into the government, into the parliament, how bad it was. How bad it was. Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about another thing that the Honorable Patterson said. Oh, he's going to bring some London Ring kind of road, and he's going to introduce light rail, and he's going to introduce some township connecting this one to the other one. You know what bothers me about this? Is that he was the Minister of Public Infrastructure, and never once he said these things. Bishop, never once he said these things, public or in private. Never has he said anything. And Bishop Ejil, the honorable member, came and spoke at length about public works. But you know what? These days, the opposition whole strategy is to promise more and deliver less, or over-promise and under-deliver. That is what they're doing. So they come and they promise about light rail. We have been doing our options on light rail in our ministry a while now. We don't need the honorable member Patterson to come and do that. If he wants to build a road, we have built all of the roads already. There's nothing left for him to build. We built all his stellings. We don't build all the bridges, and the Corpacari is the only one left. We already dealing with that. We don't build all of the airports that we're not taking care of. We're extending the current one. We extended because there's nothing for him to build. There's nothing for them to build. All of this school, we don't build all of them, and we're building more. The hospitals with Frank Anthony was here. All unbuilt. Where you going to come and promise people when we don't build it? All of the drainage and irrigation structure, agriculture's been building it.
Promise delivered.
There's nothing for them to promise. So you know what they're going to do?
Gotcha.
You know what they're going to do? Oh, you give 100 grand, we're going to give 400 grand. That is their promise people. And then they can't deliver it too because they have a track record, a notorious track record for not delivering anything that they promise people. It's like a lying by friend. You know, Honorable Doctor say, you know, you got a lying by friend, promise you all the time I can't deliver nothing. That is what it is, akin to a lying by friend or girlfriend. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that when a member, as Mr. Patterson come, and I take umbrage to what he said, because it's like, you know, he's telling us that we ain't do no work. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you something. And I checked the records. Minister Singh put 4,000 roads completed in his speech. But when we add up the ones that are currently being done, plus the one that done by the Force Account Unit, it accounts to 8,208 roads. 8,208 roads. Everywhere since the dawn of this republic, we have never built that. We have never built that. And that, so when you say you're going to New Amsterdam for Bill Road, done, Bill. You go to Bartica, if you go to Baidarabo, Dark Point, if you go to the access road, to the airport, everything done, Bill. You go to Maria, same thing. In Georgetown, Mr. Speaker, that they control the city council. They don't build no road. They don't put even a black cent into building road. Public Works that's got to do it. Public Works put in over $15 billion over the 4 years to build all them road in the city, all the connections. And them coming up, they have nothing to promise. We don't do all the work. And the country saw that. We don't do all of the work.
Lies.
Well, here now, if any Hindu, this year $53 billion in the budget for miscellaneous and urban roads, gonna get it done. So by the time you go to campaign, you're walking on a road that Minister Indar or Minister 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄. Right? And Annette Ferguson in the South Rumpel, but you're walking on the road of the Force.
I have all right to walk anywhere and drive anywhere.
Honorable Minister, you'll need an extension. But let me cautious the Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson. You know, she is now being, I don't know, unusually disruptive by putting on her microphone and shouting in it. And the next time I'll put her out. Not for tonight. When it matters on Friday. Don't apologize. Go ahead, Honorable Member, Ms. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask for 5-minute extension to conclude his statement. Thank you.
Minister Indar, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When they do that, my train of thought get cut. But never mind, I got more material to deal with them. Mr. Speaker, I heard from one of the members over there who claims to be a finance expert, giving out jumbie mathematics, jumbie finance in our speech. And I'll show you. So our country's indebtedness is about $5.993 billion US. Mr. Speaker, for some it might seem like a lot, but that is not even a project in another country. It is not even one single project in a country. But what to say about this, and for everybody who are those who, you know, conservative harpers that say, oh, we have $5.93 billion in debt. It is a fraction of our, what we call our GDP, our gross domestic product. In 2020, it was 47%. As at the end of 2024, as reported by the Minister of Finance, it is 24.3%. It is the lowest in the entire world. Mr. Speaker, and you know something? Mr. Speaker, you know what gets me? The opposition got belly. You know, colloquially, you start, they got belly for come to this parliament and find a fault about a debt. The GDP ratio, the lowest in the world, and still find something bad about it. They got belly. Either they got belly or they're playing stupid. Is stupid about what?
Show your belly, my pal.
Is stupid one of the words I can't use? Play.
Show your belly. No, it's okay.
I say that the argument is stupid. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in this budget, I have not gone through the sectors that I labor in with the Prime Minister, neither with Bishop 𝐁𝐿 in public works. I have not even touched that. I will spend all day going through those. But what I want to say, Mr. Speaker, is that the budget at a glance speaks about some measures. And these measures are there to stimulate certain parts of the economy, deal with certain strata of society that needs help. That we saw, we promised, and we are now delivering those. And for the opposition to say they may see nothing good, do you see anything? They say they don't see anything good in the part-time jobs. I know a lot of those people. I go on the road and see a lot of those women working hard to get their money. So they add to the income of the household. And they say they see nothing good about that. Thousands of people they're ridiculing. Hard-earned monies that people work for. They see nothing good about that. Increasing the old age pension. They don't see that, Mr. Speaker. I work at Freedom House from time to time on a Thursday. The amount of folks that comes in there with issues about pension and talk about how they would like an extra money to deal with the thing. The government, our government, my government has doubled it. And they say they see nothing bad about that. There's nothing good about that. They say they see nothing good about it. Public assistance. Everywhere you go around the country, somebody always have some issues that puts them in the category that they qualify for public assistance. Look, we are now paying $22,000 to that. Benefiting over 40,000 people of all creed of life. And they say they can't see nothing good about that. I don't know if y'all can't see nothing good about things like that. They help the people that struggle to build this country with a hand and a foot. Something wrong with y'all. Something wrong with them if they can't see nothing good about that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm telling you, it questions the value system. Now, all of the arguments that I heard from the opposition over the past 4 days, you know, one would think might be the symptoms of flu. But if ever, by God, some walk of miracle that they find themselves in government, it will become a plague. It's no longer a flu. It will become a plague because the value system is just wrong. They don't connect to people. They don't connect to poor people. They can't empathize with people. They can't put their foot in the shoes in people's foot to understand the problem. That is why they could say that they're missing nothing good in this budget. You foot in people's shoe. You can't empathize with people. You can sympathize and say, you know, I'm sorry for you and so on. But you know something? You don't understand what people are going through. And that's the problem with them. It questions the value system and it makes them unworthy to govern a nation such as ours. Mr. Speaker, I want to say one last thing before I go. Listen, I'm on the floor. When you are on the floor, I allow you to speak. You don't have no thing over here. Mr. Speaker, I want to say one last thing before I leave this podium. And it's really the collective of everything that we have put together as measures, all of the provisions in every ministry. Every spend is surrounding people. Our business is people. It's to serve people. And everything, whether it's education, infrastructure, health, whatever circles, around it is people. And that is what this budget is delivering. It is delivering for people of every walk of life in every area of their life. That is what this budget is. And I want to thank the Honorable Minister Dr. Singh, who and the staff who labor to put this budget forward on behalf of the People's Progressive Party government, so that we may be able to continue the transformative work that we've been doing since 2020. God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you.